Hi, this is Larry Greenblatt. Yes, my glasses are blue. That's whatever. Um, add to the silliness of the mood. I have a very special series I'm starting right now. I hope you enjoy it. I turn 64 next year, and I thought it'd be a great excuse to go over a 64 style of Tai Chi that I practice almost every day that I learned from my coach, Tom Updegrove, and over 40 years ago. Uh, so enjoy. Right. So my earliest memory of seeing the Taiji and diagram, the yin yang diagram, was we had a copy of the James Legge translation of the I Ching, and that's the Book of Changes. And they line the yin yangs. They draw them with broken lines and solid lines. And if you get three and you see like around a yin yang, around a taiji, you often see the eight trigrams because they have two to the third. And William, actually, Leibniz, Gottfried Leibniz saw this and was inspired to write binary math. You could represent any a number just using a yin or a yang or one and a zero. So it's pretty cool. I wasn't the only one mesmerized by this thing. And in the Book of Changes, the I Ching, they maybe one of the oldest Chinese texts ever, like 3,000 possibly years ago. We're not sure. But it illustrated 64 basic changes in nature. Now, I was like 10 years old. I saw the book. I just remember that image stuck in my head. Stuck in my head. Pretty cool. So when I was 18, a neighborhood hero of mine, a great engineer, he's the hippie leader of Logan, where I was from, is Otto Capabianco, and I always admired him. He was older than me. He hung out with my sister and a bunch of great musicians that I'm still friends with today. I still admire these guys so much. And we got to talking, and he had just got a copy of the I Ching from Richard Wilhelm's version, which was a much thicker document, a lot of commentaries, including a Carl Jung intro. I mean, so a really heavy book. And he showed me how you could throw coins and stuff. Now, I was a musician, a recording engineer, and he got me into music. He heard me do Elvis, and he said, "You could be in a band." And eventually that's how, and I'm still with these guys. So that's how my band Ben slash Gung Ho got created. We thank you, Otto. And I still look forward to our next recording after 47 years. Uh, so he gave me this thing. And then I just like, wow, I got it. I'm obsessed with this whole way to become the superior man. So a few months later, I'm in a bookstore and I see this book. Now you got to remember, I grew up in the '60s and the '70s. Otto and everybody. We're from a tough neighborhood, North Philadelphia and Logan, and my family. My grandfather's a boxer. We have some history in martial arts and stuff. I fought at Joe Frazier's gym when I was a kid, and I was looking for more. Also, the '60s, '70s is when the TV show Kung Fu comes out. So I was like, oh, I'd really like to learn some type of martial arts that's this is Yi Jing for the body. I was just obsessed with this book and I got it and I had to find a school. So now we start the search. So after trying a couple schools, I had a head of one school, former teacher, stuck with me for a year, though. He felt that I would get along really well with Tom Updegrove, and he sent me to his school, Martial Posture, one of the oldest continuously running martial arts schools in Philadelphia. And at the time, Tom was third degree black belt, but there is a picture of him with Joe Lewis, the great kickboxing legend. And I had again done some boxing and I remember wanting to see if he could really fight. We put on the gloves and he said, sure, and I was like, let's see if he could really, and he had me tied up like a pretzel without even throwing a punch. And I was so, what just happened? I was perplexed. I was like 19 years old. I took a year before I eventually did stay with him. But I remember he came to see my band play and I was like, what a nice guy. Uh, but he started us off with a 64 style Yang format. I've never seen it beyond that since. So we're gonna play with it this during this thing and see what happens. But Tom also gave me a copy of Timothy Leary's book Exopsychology, and if anyone knows me, it's still I'm a member of Singularity University since 2017, and big fan of Ben Goertzel's Singularity Net, and I really feel that like Ray Kurzweil, if he had only read exopsychology, he'd fill in the missing pieces. He has that acronym SMILE: space migration, intelligence exponentially squared, right? I squared, and life extension. He thought that's the root. So we'll move on to that. Tom is the first guy to have a computer, though it was later Tom and Otto got Commodore 64s at the same like basic time. That just sunk it for me. So when I got my Commodore 64, that was, in fact, going back to Otto, that's how I started my name that's on this channel, Max Quasar. Otto and I were doing bulletin board stuff. He taught me how to use a modem, and we were dialing in and doing stuff, learning early communication protocols. Today, Tom is still hacks with his computer. He's the first American to pass the EC Council's licensed penetration testing master, a 24-hour lab. And Tom is the head of Internet Work Service, a sister company. Some people know me should, hey, I thought that was your logo. That's Tom's logo. He let me use it for Internet Work Defense, a sister company. So thank you, Shifu. So in '95, I'm a Novell network engineer. See, I'm working at IBM, and I'm doing a lot of networking stuff. I grew up. I went from modem hacking with Otto to doing actual work, and sniffers were new, relatively new. I became obsessed with protocol analysis and stuff like that. And this book comes out. Now, I got into computers because of Otto and those guys, but I took a job in it because of Alvin Toffler's book, The Third Wave. So I was already an Alvin Toffler fan. He wrote Future Shock as well. When I saw this book and I read it and I gave it to Tom and he read it, it just changed everything. And it kind of really synchronized my love of martial arts and self-defense and our loves of technology. And we could see, whether the weapon was, Tom taught me, whatever spear form, cane form, multiple sword forms. So we got to come up with a cyber form. And I believe it was my term, but we're not sure. He said, I think it was you. I said cyber kung fu. So that's really the history. This is in 1995 that we came up with the term. Since then, Tom and I have been taught certified ethical hacking classes at bases all over the world. So it's continued on. All right, so I got down to the school in July. We did the before video. I'll be showing that right after this. And then over the year, I'm going to try to get down there as much as I can on Sundays. And Tom's been doing some amazing stuff. So if you've seen the movie The Power of Chi with Morgan Freeman, there's a great instructor, Adam Misner, that he's helped bring to the world. Tom immediately signs up. So I think it's been 2 years now. Tom's been studying with Adam and doing some stuff, and that includes bringing the Cheng Ching style. He said, I just decided, we might as well link. So when we get into our 64, you see it. The Young had like a 108, and then Yang Cheng Fu students all did something. Cheng Ching, who went to Taiwan, had the most popular, at least in Philadelphia. We had Maggie Newman, a great student of his down in Philly, teach the 37 style. And yet, for some reason, we just never did it. Tom showed many, many forms since then. He's Chen and other things, the Beijing 24. But it's really pretty close to what the 64 objective should be to stick with Cheng Ching. So we're going to be learning that, but we're going to put it in the context of the 64. So we'll get some more history on the classics too. There's some great stuff that also from Dalu. I'll bring that up. And then whatever Tom tends to spring on us because he's always got something. So if you've got a question for my coach, for Shifu Tom, I'm the only one who, by the way, who calls him Shifu, or he said, students of mine from IT, my cyber people. So if you have any questions, write them in and I'll make sure I ask Tom. All right, enjoy everybody. Hi, I am starting my journey to 64 with my coach, Shifu Tom Updegrove. I think I'm the only guy who calls you Shifu.
No, everybody from
the cyber guys.
Yeah.
All my students from security. But we're going to start something. Tom's going to. When I first met Tom, he taught me a 64 posture Tai Chi. I love that form, and we're going to go over it. He hasn't seen me do it. We've done so many things, and I think I've tried to nail it down. I met you in '81, but I didn't start actually studying the 64 till '82. So since 1982, and then we've done so many things since then. I don't think we've practiced the 64 since '83 or so. Yeah. So let's see how it goes. So I thought we'd start by me practicing the 64 in front of Tom. And the goal is next year, we're going to go over it again, and hopefully I learned something over this year. That's all I'm trying to do this year. All right. So we're going to practice. I'm going to do the 64 in front of Tom.
I love the lotus kicks.
That's a good start.
Yeah.